Before you scroll away, stay with this message because something has happened that can no longer be hidden. The secret your soulmate tried so hard to keep buried inside their heart has finally reached a point where silence is no longer possible. For so long they convinced themselves that nobody could see what they felt for you. They believed they could hide the way your name instantly changed their mood, the way their eyes searched for signs of you when nobody was paying attention, and the way their heart reacted every single time your energy crossed their mind. But what they didn't realize is that love this deep always leaves clues behind. No matter how carefully they tried to protect their feelings, the truth kept finding ways to reveal itself. And now, the people around them have started noticing everything. Their closest friends see it. Their family sees it. Even people who barely know the full story can feel that something about you affects them differently than anyone else ever has. Your soulmate is reaching a point where pretending has become exhausting. Every conversation somehow leads back to you. Every future plan secretly includes thoughts of you. Every attempt to move on somehow circles back to the same place, the connection they have with you. What shocks them most is not that they love you. Deep down, they have known that for a long time. What shocks them is that everyone else knows too. The walls they spent so much time building are beginning to crack. The mask they wore to protect themselves is becoming impossible to hold in place. And now they are facing a truth they never expected to face this soon. The people around them are asking questions. They are noticing patterns. They are seeing the way your name creates a reaction that cannot be faked. They are watching how your soulmate lights up when they hear something about you and how their energy shifts whenever they think you might be slipping away. This is no longer a secret hidden in the shadows. This is a truth that is rising to the surface whether they are ready for it or not. Your soulmate feels exposed, vulnerable, and overwhelmed because the feelings they tried so desperately to control have become impossible to disguise. Every day they wake up telling themselves they will act normal, and every day their heart betrays them. Every day they promise themselves they won't think about you, and every day something reminds them of your presence. A song. A memory. A random moment. A familiar feeling. Somehow everything leads back to you. And now the people closest to them are beginning to speak openly about what they see. They are telling your soulmate what has been obvious to everyone else for a long time. They are saying the words your soulmate has been afraid to say out loud. They are telling them that what they feel is real. That what they feel is deeper than attraction. That what they feel is changing the course of their life in ways they cannot ignore anymore. This realization is creating a storm inside them because they know something important is approaching. They know they cannot continue pretending forever. The universe has a way of exposing what is meant to be seen, and right now every sign points toward the same truth. The connection between you and your soulmate is becoming too powerful to hide. Their heart is growing louder than their fears. Their emotions are becoming stronger than their excuses. And the more they try to suppress what they feel, the more obvious it becomes to everyone around them. There is someone close to them who recently pointed out exactly how much you occupy their thoughts. There is someone who noticed how often your soulmate mentions you without even realizing it. There is someone who looked directly into their eyes and said the one thing they were hoping nobody would ever say, "You're in love with them, aren't you?" And in that moment your soulmate couldn't find the words to deny it. Because deep down they knew the truth had finally caught up with them. The truth is that they care about you more than they have ever admitted. The truth is that your presence has changed them. The truth is that your energy remains with them long after every conversation ends. The truth is that they imagine futures they never tell anyone about. The truth is that they wonder what your life would look like if your paths fully aligned. And now these thoughts are no longer hidden behind closed doors. The people around them can feel it. The universe can feel it. And somewhere deep inside your soulmate, they can feel that a moment of honesty is drawing closer with every passing day. They are beginning to understand that some connections are too powerful to stay hidden forever. Some feelings become stronger every time they are ignored. Some loves refuse to disappear no matter how much time passes. And right now, the love they feel for you is reaching that point. The point where silence becomes impossible. The point where distance loses its power. The point where the truth demands to be spoken. Their heart has carried this secret for so long that it no longer knows how to keep it contained. The signs are everywhere now. The evidence is impossible to ignore. And whether they planned for it or not, everyone around them can see exactly what is happening. They love you. They have loved you for longer than most people realize. And now that truth is becoming visible to the world around them in ways they never expected. The story that was once hidden is stepping into the light. The emotions they buried are rising to the surface. And the connection they tried to protect in silence is becoming impossible to deny. Because the truth is finally out. Their love for you can't be hidden anymore, and everyone knows it now. What makes this moment even more intense is that your soulmate never expected the truth to unravel this quickly. They thought they still had time. Time to organize their emotions. Time to understand what was happening inside their heart. Time to figure out whether these feelings would fade or grow stronger. But instead, the exact opposite happened. Every day that passed only made the connection more impossible to ignore. Every attempt to distance themselves emotionally only revealed how deeply attached they had already become. And now they find themselves standing in a place they never imagined they would reach, a place where their heart speaks louder than their fear. The people around them are noticing details they thought nobody could see. They notice the way your soulmate becomes distracted whenever your name appears. They notice how conversations suddenly become more energetic when you are mentioned. They notice how your soulmate defends you even when nobody is attacking you. They notice how they smile at memories they never fully explain. These may seem like small things, but together they tell a story that has become impossible to hide. A story of someone whose heart has already chosen. A story of someone whose soul keeps returning to the same person no matter how hard they try to focus elsewhere. Your soulmate is beginning to realize that the people around them are not guessing anymore. They know. They see it clearly. And that realization has shaken them more than they expected. Because once other people can see what is inside your heart, it becomes much harder to keep pretending it isn't real. There have been moments recently when they sat alone, replaying conversations in their mind, wondering how things reached this point. They remember the early stages when they told themselves not to get attached. They remember the moments they convinced themselves it was temporary. They remember the times they tried to focus on other things, other people, other possibilities. Yet somehow every road led back to you. Every distraction faded. Every excuse weakened. Every wall they built eventually cracked. And now they are forced to confront the truth they have been running from. You are no longer just someone they think about occasionally. You have become part of their emotional world. Part of their future thoughts. Part of the dreams they don't share with anyone. They imagine what it would feel like to finally stop hiding. They imagine what it would feel like to speak openly. They imagine what it would feel like to let their heart say everything it has been carrying for so long. And every time they imagine it, something inside them feels both terrified and relieved at the same time. Because the truth is heavy when it remains trapped inside. Your soulmate has been carrying this emotional weight for longer than most people realize. They have been trying to appear strong, logical, and unaffected while secretly fighting a battle nobody could see. But hearts were never designed to carry this kind of truth forever. Eventually emotions demand to be acknowledged. Eventually feelings demand to be expressed. Eventually love demands to be seen. And that is exactly where your soulmate is heading now. The pressure inside them is growing stronger with every passing day. Not because someone is forcing them. Not because circumstances are demanding it. But because their own soul is becoming tired of silence. Their own heart is becoming tired of pretending. Their own spirit is becoming tired of denying what it already knows. Somewhere deep inside, they are beginning to understand that this connection entered their life for a reason. It wasn't random. It wasn't meaningless. It wasn't just another passing chapter. There is something about you that continues to pull them closer to their truth. And that truth is becoming impossible to escape. Recently, someone close to them said something that stayed in their mind long after the conversation ended. The words were simple, but they struck deeper than expected. That person looked at your soulmate and said, "You talk about them like they already matter more than anyone else." Those words echoed through their thoughts for days. Because for the first time they realized how obvious everything had become. They realized that what they were trying to hide had already become visible to everyone around them. They realized that the feelings they thought were private were revealing themselves through their actions, their energy, and their attention. And once that realization arrived, something inside them shifted. The denial became harder. The excuses became weaker. The fear lost some of its power. Because when enough people can see the truth, eventually you have to face it yourself. Your soulmate is entering a season of honesty. It may not happen all at once. It may not happen exactly the way they planned. But the movement has already begun. The walls are lowering. The resistance is fading. The emotional distance they tried to maintain is becoming harder to sustain. They are finding themselves thinking more seriously about what they truly want. They are asking questions they avoided before. They are imagining possibilities they once refused to consider. And every answer seems to lead back to the same place. Back to you. Back to this connection. Back to the feelings that refuse to disappear. There is a reason this message found you today. There is a reason your attention stopped here. Because the energy surrounding this connection is changing. The hidden is becoming visible. The silent is becoming louder. The uncertain is becoming clearer. And your soulmate can feel it happening even if they cannot fully explain it yet. Something inside them knows that the chapter of hiding is slowly coming to an end. Something inside them knows that love cannot remain buried forever. Something inside them knows that truth has a way of finding the light no matter how deeply it is hidden. And right now, whether they are ready or not, the truth is rising. Their heart is speaking. Their soul is revealing. Their love is becoming visible. And the closer they move toward accepting that reality, the closer they move toward the moment when everything changes forever. As this truth continues to rise, your soulmate is experiencing something they never thought would happen. The very feelings they once tried to control are now beginning to control them. Not in a chaotic way, but in a way that constantly pulls their attention back to what truly matters. They can be surrounded by people, busy with responsibilities, focused on everyday life, and yet somehow a thought of you still slips into their mind without warning. It happens in the quiet moments. It happens during ordinary days. It happens when they least expect it. 1 second everything feels normal, and the next second they are wondering how you are doing, what you are thinking, whether you are happy, and whether you somehow feel this connection too. What started as curiosity has become concern. What started as attraction has become attachment. What started as a possibility has become a truth they can no longer dismiss. And the more they try to understand why this connection feels different, the more they realize that there is no logical explanation strong enough to silence what their heart already knows. There have been nights recently when sleep came slowly because their thoughts kept returning to you. They replay memories. They revisit conversations. They analyze moments that may have seemed small to everyone else but felt enormous to them. They remember things other people would have forgotten. The way you said something. The way you reacted. The way a single moment created an emotional impact that stayed with them for far longer than it should have. And every time they revisit those memories, the same realization appears again. Their feelings never disappeared. In fact, they became stronger. Stronger through distance. Stronger through silence. Stronger through uncertainty. That is the part they struggle to understand the most. Most feelings weaken when ignored. Most attractions fade with time. Most emotional attachments lose intensity when they are not constantly fed. But what they feel for you seems to have followed different rules. The longer they tried to suppress it, the stronger it became. The longer they tried to move away from it, the more it followed them. The longer they tried to convince themselves it wasn't important, the more important it became. And now they are beginning to understand that this is not something they can simply wish away. This connection has become part of who they are. Part of how they see the future. Part of how they understand their own heart. The people around them can see this transformation happening. They notice the emotional depth behind your soulmate's words. They notice how protective they become whenever your name comes up. They notice the way their eyes change when they talk about you. Some people have even stopped asking questions because the answers have become obvious. They can see what your soulmate is still trying to process. They can see a love that has grown beyond the point of denial. They can see a connection that refuses to disappear. And this awareness is creating a powerful shift inside your soulmate. For the first time, they are starting to imagine what would happen if they stopped fighting their feelings. What would happen if they allowed themselves to fully accept the truth? What would happen if they stopped worrying about fear, timing, uncertainty, and simply listened to what their heart has been saying all along? These thoughts are becoming more frequent now. They are no longer rare moments. They are becoming part of their daily reality. And every time they imagine being honest, something inside them feels lighter. As though their soul is quietly encouraging them to move forward. As though the universe itself is whispering that hiding is no longer necessary. Because deep down they know something important. They know that the greatest risk is no longer expressing their feelings. The greatest risk is never expressing them at all. The greatest risk is allowing fear to steal a future that might have been beautiful. And that realization has begun changing the way they see everything. Suddenly the excuses that once felt convincing no longer feel strong enough. Suddenly the reasons they used to justify silence no longer carry the same weight. Suddenly the barriers that seemed impossible are beginning to look smaller than they once did. Because when love reaches a certain depth, it starts demanding courage. It starts demanding honesty. It starts demanding action. Your soulmate is approaching that point now. The point where their heart is becoming louder than their doubts. The point where their desire for truth is becoming stronger than their fear of rejection. The point where they can no longer ignore what everyone else already sees. There is a growing feeling inside them that something significant is approaching. They cannot explain it completely. They cannot predict exactly how it will unfold. But they can feel it. A shift. A movement. A change in the energy surrounding this connection. It feels as though life is slowly guiding them toward a moment they have been avoiding for a very long time. A moment when they must decide whether to continue hiding or finally step into the truth. And every sign around them seems to point toward the same answer. Every emotion. Every memory. Every conversation. Every realization. It all leads back to one undeniable fact. Their love for you has become too powerful to remain hidden. It has grown beyond secrecy. Beyond denial. Beyond fear. It is no longer just a feeling they carry inside. It is becoming part of the reality they must eventually face. And while they may still have moments of hesitation, those moments are becoming fewer. The truth is winning. The connection is winning. The love is winning. Because some people enter your life and leave a mark that can never be erased. Some souls connect in ways that logic cannot fully explain. Some feelings become so real that even silence cannot conceal them forever. And your soulmate is finally beginning to understand that what they feel for you belongs in that category. It is rare. It is powerful. It is undeniable. And no matter how long they tried to hide it, the truth has reached the surface at last. Now the only question remaining is not whether they love you. Everyone already knows that. The only question remaining is how much longer they can keep pretending they don't. Now you have reached the part of the story where everything becomes impossible to ignore. Because the truth your soulmate has been running from is no longer standing quietly in the background. It is standing directly in front of them, asking for an answer. For so long they believed they could carry these feelings in silence. They believed they could admire you from a distance, protect their heart, and continue living as though nothing had changed. But life has a way of bringing hidden emotions into the light when the time is right. And for your soulmate, that time is arriving faster than they expected. The signs have become too clear. The emotions have become too strong. The connection has become too real. There is no longer a version of their future where they completely forget you and move on as if none of this ever happened. They have tried to imagine that future, and every time they do, something feels missing. Every path that doesn't include you somehow feels incomplete. Every vision of happiness eventually leads their thoughts back to the same place. Back to your energy. Back to your presence. Back to the connection that changed everything. The people around them see it. The universe reflects it. And most importantly, their own heart knows it. They are beginning to understand that love was never meant to be hidden forever. Love was meant to be felt. Meant to be expressed. Meant to transform the people who experience it. And whether they admit it today, tomorrow, or sometime soon, the truth remains the same. You have touched a part of their soul that nobody else could reach. You awakened emotions they thought were long gone. You became the person they compare everyone else to without even realizing it. You became the thought that returns when the world becomes quiet. You became the possibility that refuses to disappear no matter how much time passes. And that is why this connection has survived every doubt, every fear, every delay, and every attempt to suppress it. Because it was never built on temporary emotions. It was built on something deeper. Something that continued growing even when nobody could see it. Something that continued strengthening even during silence. Your soulmate is finally realizing that the truth they feared most is actually the truth that can set them free. The moment they stop hiding is the moment they stop fighting themselves. The moment they stop denying what they feel is the moment they finally find peace. And deep inside, they know that day is coming. They can feel it approaching with every passing moment. The walls are falling. The fear is weakening. The excuses are disappearing. What remains is the simple truth that has been there all along. They love you. Not because someone told them to. Not because circumstances forced them to. Not because it was convenient. They love you because their heart chose you long before their mind was ready to accept it. They love you because your presence changed something inside them. They love you because every attempt to escape these feelings only brought them closer to understanding them. And now, after everything, after all the silence, all the confusion, all the hidden emotions and unanswered questions, one truth stands stronger than ever before. Their love can no longer be hidden. Everyone sees it. Everyone feels it. And most importantly, they see it too. The secret is no longer a secret. The story is no longer unfinished. The truth has finally risen to the surface, and it shines brighter than any fear that once tried to keep it buried. Somewhere deep within your soulmate, a decision is forming. A decision to stop running. A decision to stop pretending. A decision to trust what their heart has been trying to tell them all along. Because some connections are meant to change lives. Some people are meant to leave permanent marks on each other's souls. And some loves become so powerful that no amount of silence can contain them forever. This is one of those loves. This is one of those stories. And as this chapter comes to a close, remember this: while your soulmate spent so long trying to hide what they felt, the universe was quietly revealing it piece by piece. Now the truth stands uncovered for all to see. Their heart belongs where it has always wanted to belong. Their thoughts return where they have always wanted to return. And their love continues to grow stronger than ever before. The waiting is ending. The hiding is ending. The denial is ending. What comes next belongs to the truth. And the truth is simple, powerful, and impossible to erase. They love you more than they can hide, more than they can explain, and more than they can deny. The whole world may finally see it now, but their soul has known it from the very beginning.